Breaking news, double exclamation mark. Coco Gauff faces huge point deduction before WTA finals. The shocking reason why. No one expected breaking news to shake the tennis world just days before the biggest tournament of the year. No one expected chaos. No one expected Coco Gauff, America's sweetheart, the sport's rising queen, a global role model, to be at the center of a storm so shocking, so unbelievable, that for a moment the entire tennis universe stopped in its tracks. But that's exactly what happened. On a quiet Tuesday morning, with journalists half asleep and players finishing their training sessions, an announcement flashed across social media like lightning. Coco Gauff faces massive ranking points deduction. WTA confirms shock decision ahead of finals. Fans panicked. Reporters scrambled. Comment sections exploded. Hashtags trended instantly. The world wanted answers. And the truth, when it came out, was both heartbreaking and inspiring. A calm morning turns chaotic. Coco Gauff woke up in Riyadh expecting a normal pre-tournament day. Stretching, practice, interviews, sleep. Instead, her phone buzzed uncontrollably. Text after text. Call after call. Message upon message. Her coach's voice trembled on the phone. "Coco, you need to come to the conference room. There's been a development." She walked in. Her team was silent. Cameras were already waiting outside. Then the WTA official spoke. "There's been a ruling. You may face a significant point deduction going into the WTA finals." Coco blinked, confused, lost, stunned. What? Why? The answer rocked her world. The heartbreaking reason behind the points deduction. It wasn't doping. It wasn't match fixing. It wasn't unsportsmanlike behavior. It was something far more painful. Coco Gauff had unknowingly played a tournament while carrying a minor medical exemption that wasn't properly filed by her previous team manager, an administrative error completely outside her control. In plain terms, a small mistake in paperwork, a forgotten signature, a missing timestamp, and now she would lose hundreds of points. Points she earned through sweat, tears, and impossible comebacks. Points that helped her qualify for the WTA finals. Points that protected her seeding. Points that defined her journey. Gone or about to be gone. Because of someone else's oversight. Fans erupt in outrage. Within minutes, social media exploded. How is this her fault? Punish the system, not the player. This is devastating before the finals. Coco deserves better. Former players chimed in. Commentators called for reconsideration. Even rival players posted messages of support. But the WTA insisted. Rules are rules. Paperwork must be complete. The deduction would stand unless an appeal succeeded. Gauff had 48 hours to prepare her case. 48 hours to salvage her ranking, her seeding, her momentum, her shot at history. 48 hours before the biggest tournament of the year. Coco's private breakdown. Away from cameras. Coco sat in her hotel room staring at the city lights of Riyadh, glittering, distant, cold. Her mother held her hand. Her father paced in frustration. Her coach whispered reassurances. But Coco, she felt shattered. She had done nothing wrong. She followed every rule. She trained harder than ever. She sacrificed everything for the season. And now an administrative mistake, not even hers, threatened to rewrite her entire year. Tears came quietly, slowly, painfully. Why does this have to happen now? She whispered. No one had an answer. The appeal, a battle against the clock. Within hours, her team prepared a formal appeal. White heavy checkmark medical reports, white heavy checkmark previous exemptions, white heavy checkmark training logs, white heavy checkmark communication screenshots, white heavy checkmark a detailed timeline, white heavy checkmark letters from physicians, white heavy checkmark statements from tournament officials. They worked nonstop. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., hardly sleeping, fueled by determination and desperation. Meanwhile, Coco tried to practice, but her mind was far away. Every swing felt heavier. Every breath felt uncertain. If the decision wasn't overturned, her ranking could drop. Her group in the WTA finals could change. Her path to the title could become 10 times harder. And she might enter the biggest event of her career mentally broken. Rivals react. A rare moment of unity. One by one, the top players spoke out. IGA Swiatek, Coco should not be punished for a clerical mistake. This is unfair. Aryna Sabalenka, ridiculous. She earned those points. Let her play. Ons Jabeur, the rules need compassion. Coco deserves justice. Rybakina, this sets a dangerous precedent. Fix it immediately. Never before had the WTA's fiercest competitors stood so united for one of their own. It showed Coco something she didn't expect. She wasn't alone. The verdict, a twist no one saw coming. Hours before the draw ceremony, her team received a notification. Subject, appeal decision reached status, partial approval. Coco held her breath. The WTA ruling. White heavy check mark, she would still lose some points. Rules required it. White heavy check mark, but the deduction would be significantly reduced. White heavy check mark, most importantly. Her WTA finals qualification and seeding would remain intact. It wasn't a full victory, but it was survival. Riyadh rallying behind her. When she stepped onto the practice court later that afternoon, something extraordinary happened. Fans lined up around the gates. Some held signs. Stay strong, Coco. You deserve better. We believe in you. Others simply clapped as she walked in. The support overwhelmed her. She stopped, pressed her hand over her heart, and bowed her head. She wasn't broken anymore. She was fueled. A storm transformed into motivation. Her coach whispered, "This situation could crush someone. But you're turning it into fire." And he was right. Coco's next practice session was her best in weeks. Serves booming like cannon fire. Forehands exploding down the line. Backhands slicing through the air. Footwork crisp, electric, relentless. Focus sharp as steel. She was no longer training out of fear. She was training out of purpose. Every ball she hit said, "You can't stop me." A final message from Coco. Later that night, she posted a statement to fans. Life isn't fair, but champions aren't made when life is easy. Thank you to everyone who stood by me. See you on the court. I'm ready to fight. The post broke the internet. Millions shared it. Dozens of athletes responded. She became not just a player, but a symbol of resilience, a symbol of integrity, a symbol of strength. The WTA Finals, a new mission. Coco entered the WTA Finals no longer just trying to win a title. She was playing for white heavy checkmark justice, white heavy checkmark redemption, white heavy checkmark dignity, white heavy checkmark pride, white heavy checkmark the right to control her own story, white heavy checkmark, and every player who has ever been hurt by a system larger than them. And suddenly, the tennis world wasn't asking, will she win? They were asking, how far will her anger take her? How powerful will this new Coco Gauff be? What happens when a player fights for more than a trophy? The finals had become more than a competition. It had become a battlefield of spirit. And Coco, stronger, sharper, fiercer, was ready to conquer it. A scandal that became a turning point. In the end, this wasn't a story of punishment. It was a story of perseverance. A story of how a champion reacts when the world tests them. A story of a young woman refusing to be broken by forces beyond her control. Coco Gauff walked into the WTA Finals with fewer points, but with more strength than ever. And sometimes, strength is what wins titles. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.